Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Red Path. Once again, this should be a video dropping amongst a plethora of Red Path content as the codex is out and we are some very happy berserkers. I am joined today by Brian. Brian, how are we feeling, man?
I'm doing good. I know that we have some exciting changes that we're going to be talking about today when it comes to, as you've seen from our title and thumbnail, the Blessings of Khorne, which they've been completely reworked. Some of the stuff is still in there, is the same, but a little different. And we have probably the spiciest new tech from our codex, just overall, has been added to it. And I'm excited to get talking about it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's just go straight into it. Let's just rip the band-aid off. Tell us, what are the changes? What are our blessings now?
Yeah, so we saw the removal of three different blessings from our current index rules, and an addition of three brand new ones with a new format of how to achieve each blessing. So I guess starting from the top, and we'll have a list up here. We have double one, anything. You get to reroll charge rolls for the turn. Just blanket fine, like it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Uh, double two up. Probably the strongest blessing I'd argue that we have access to, and I'm very thankful that it's on a double two up, which is very
Yeah, for
accessible.
real.
The 6-inch pylon to consolidate. I know we were seeing rumors about that happening months ago, popping around. Um, and I was totally expecting that to be the most inaccessible one that
Yeah.
we get access to. The fact that it's kind of now the army's identity, I'd say,
Mhm.
is sweet. So then we have double three up, which is your fight on death 4 up. We have the double 4 up or any triple. You're going to grab sustained hits 1, which is different than what it is now.
Slightly higher, yeah.
I think it's double 3
Double
up or something right
three,
now.
yeah.
Double 5 up or triple 2 up, lethal hits.
Yep.
And then double 6 or triple 3 up, devastating wounds, which is potentially a very powerful one, but situationally useless. So
Yeah.
I'm actually happy seeing that one be the most inaccessible.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, initial impressions, Jamie.
So it is. I 100% agree. The changes made, the pile in and consolidate, as a de facto replacement for the advance and charge identity of the army. It's wonderful that it's not guaranteed, but it's pretty close to being guaranteed.
You can complain about being unlucky for missing it.
Yes, we've all had those games where you rolled like a triple one or whatever pre-codex and you only got the one blessing and you're like, so that's still going to potentially happen. You're going to have games where you just get reroll charges for the turn. But anyway, so we lost +2 move, we lost advance and charge, and we lost
Feel no pain.
feel no pain. Oh my god, yeah, we
That
lost.
one hurt.
Yeah, the feel no pain is arguably the one that has not been sort of replaced in any way, because +2 move is essentially baked in on the army on the data sheets. More or less everyone got +2 +1 move, basically. And then advanced and charge obviously is gone. Then we've still got a stratagem for it, but this is going to be contentious. Not everyone will agree, but I think 6-inch pylon and consolidate is better overall. Some situations you'll rather advance and charge if you had the choice, but I think this is better overall for the army identity, like you said. And then we also got the dev wounds, which I agree. Essentially, we kept some mobility, so we lost +2 move and advance and charge, and we gained reroll charge and 6-inch pylon. So we came out more or less the same, give or take situations. We lost Feel No Pain, which was a big part of our identity. Spawn, Jackals, Exalted 8-Bound, just everyone having something. And we got Dev Wounds, so we lost toughness, gained lethality. Um, there are going to be games where Dev Wounds just doesn't matter or is unnecessary, and there's going to be games where, oh my god, this is literally winning me the game, versus Custodes or something like
Yeah.
that. So this goes towards a video Darren and I recorded, which I'm not sure on the order that we're dropping these, but we mentioned that resilience has dropped with the army, but lethality has increased
Yeah.
with the army, and that's just highlighted in our army rule right here. So I think, and let's see if you agree. I think these blessings overall are an improvement, are a net gain on our previous blessings, just on that information. We're going to talk about our access to manipulate in a moment, but on the basic foundation, would you say these are better blessings, the same, or slightly worse?
I think I can't have an opinion on that until we actually get a little bit more data coming out, and I'm going to give you the politically correct answer of I don't know. I really don't. Um, we can't be throwing Angron 22 inches across the board anymore. We can't be going 23 inches before the game starts and charging turn one with 8 bound anymore, which honestly,
Good.
I wasn't doing that very much to begin with because uh, alpha striking usually isn't the answer. Turn one charges can still be done.
Yeah.
We still have access to advance and charge. We still have access to this fast-moving scouting units. Spawn can still advance and charge, right? We're still going to be able to get out there and do those early skirmishes. But it was kind of toxic, being able to just yeet anywhere you want.
Well, there's your
So
point. We're going to be able to skirmish. We're not going to be able to full send, generally.
generally, until turn two, turn three, unless your opponent
Yes.
has just shoved into the middle, which in place of advance and charge being a blessing, now it's strat locked or I know the transport detachment you can move a rhino and get out, which is
Right.
essentially advance and
The
charge.
same thing, yes.
Um, Instead of picking those and feel no pain, which it felt like every turn we were picking feel no pain, advance and charge, and maybe substituting sustained hits in. Instead
Yeah.
of picking those, now we're just getting killier. Like
Yeah.
sustained and lethal hits are going to be a combo that we see recurring a
Mhm.
lot, right? Same thing with 6 inch pile and consolidate and sustained hits. If you're playing Berserker Warband or Vessels of Wrath and you can get three, having lethal sustain, kill a thing, grab pile and consolidate,
Yeah.
then pile in and keep going with your second wave in the same turn.
Yeah.
That's going to be brutal. And then we have the pinball Hellbrute, Pinball Pete going around smacking the shit out of people with lethal sustained, and it's going to be. I think you've guys already touched it. Our lethality has gone up. I know people
Mhm.
are complaining, seeing that berserkers have dropped plus or dropped a strength. Angron is also no longer going to be really common in a lot of lists, and even if you do bring them, you're going to be missing the reroll hits. But having more common access to even fight on death, right? Like
Yeah.
orcs. I don't want to be consolidating into orcs or custodes. They're going to kill me, right?
Yeah.
I'm probably not picking 6 inch pile and consolidate into either of those matchups. But having basically permanent army-wide 4-up fight on death and sustained hits versus before, we weren't really doing that.
Yeah.
So saying that it's better than before, I don't know if that's going to be the case yet, because losing the feel no pain is going to hurt. In a lot of situations, I feel like feel no pain was overpicked anyways. Because like
Yeah.
sometimes if you're putting
It was an
three, eight,
easy default. It was such an you're never going wrong with it, right? But
right,
you could have been more right with a different pick, and that was
right, like
the deal.
some things that I saw players run into all the time is they'd be like, "Oh, I only have 10 jackals and 3 8 bound showing on the board." I'm like, "Well, those are dead regardless of what your opponent wants. You don't need feel no pain." So now you don't even have the chance to be inefficient with that. You can pick what you want specific to the situation, and what we're picking is likely to have more impact.
Yeah.
I feel like on turns two, three, four, five. Turn one, our turn one alpha strike is kind of gone, and for better or worse, we all have opinions on that. It was a little toxic anyways, so I do appreciate the mix up of the playstyle, and I am tired of people pre-measuring 4 inches backwards from me when doing screens, and make it 7. Good luck, figure it out, because that's what they got to do now,
Yeah.
and that's much harder to do. Um,
So going on to the kind of next point, which is manipulation of the blessings was a big part of list writing, certainly in the earlier part of the index with the original favored. Then, if you were running class lists and things like that, the way we get either extra dice rolls or any kind of modification to them has not quite fundamentally, but has drastically changed. Um, we don't just get a blanket reroll for having a berserker or a jackal on an objective now. Um, the walk us through. Do you think we're kind of locked more to what you roll in the initial? Like, are we taking favored? Are we planning on manipulating dice, or are we just kind of relying on,
This
average dice to get at least one or two killy things?
definitely feels like what we have now is you get what you get when you roll your dice, right? There are ways to modify it, but even those aren't modifying your dice rolls. They're just adding more chances to
More,
get
yeah.
not get unlucky, right? Your Corn Lord of Skulls is giving you a blessings die, so you're getting 9 dice if he's on the table, or 10 or 11 if you're crazy. Um, and you're bringing 3K losses, right? The icon, I'd argue this is a worse version of our icons. Now Berserkers are locked to getting kills. Jackals, fuck, they're never getting kills, or if they're getting kills, it was some weird skirmish turn one,
Yeah.
right?
Angron being able to add dice to the pool and
But
stuff.
that means you're playing Angron, which
Yeah. Yeah.
community's not really keen on right now, for better or worse. For him, if you are playing with him, you're actually quite consistent at getting what you want, which is actually a very good point to argue for playing him.
But you'd
I
have to do that instead of his like no fallback aura or something, which is arguably what you want.
You want to have rules on your Demon Primarch versus not having rules. So I'd say the strongest ones we have are the 6-inch pile and consolidate, which we have access to, and probably after that, sustained hits is going to be your next go-to one. Um, Favorite of Khorne actually has a lot of value now, being able to just flat reroll two. If you roll the cursed 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can fix that. Just grab 2 1s and try again. And the odds that it turns back into 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is abysmally low. And if it does happen, stop playing this game. Um, that's what I would do. So I would say Favored has actually a serious argument now. Lord of Skulls actually gets quite a bit of value, again, preventing you from getting that 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because now you can at least get 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, which is still useless. But um, again, it's giving you opportunities to not get unlucky. The icons, don't rely on them. It is what it is. It'll happen when it happens.
Yeah.
Favorite has a lot of value. I think the most value. And Lord of Skulls is just kind of like a nice little cherry on top where it will just be a quality of life benefit just to have
Yeah.
around on the table.
Yeah, for sure. Um, what do you see? Like you said, 6-inch piling consolidate and sustain being the most generic, assuming you got the dice for it. This is what, and I do agree. But there are going to be matchups where, especially if you're running like a vessels list or something, where you've got guaranteed dev wounds if you need it, right? Do you think? And I know you do, but I want let's pretend I don't. Um, how often will you be running sustained and lethal, considering what the meta is today, and what we anticipate it to be for the next month or so? What are you looking at as your default, like with your common matchups?
I'd say the one that I want up 100% of the time is going to end up being sustained hits.
Yeah,
Almost 100% of the time. A few matchups that doesn't matter. Like you could argue Eldar, where you didn't need sustained hits to pick up 5 1 wound T3 models. That would probably be the only scenario that I'm not taking sustained hits.
yeah,
6-inch pile in and consolidate, I'm probably going to want 80% of my games.
yeah.
But if you're going to tell me that I want a 6-inch consolidate into
Orcs, yeah,
Orcs or Blood Angels, which situationally you still want to if you're trying to like line up 2 charges and pile through,
yeah,
but into like Tau, it's backbreaking, right? You kill their screen and then you touch 6 things
yeah,
and they've lost the game instantly, right? There could be a lot of value there. But more often than not, I'd say sustained hits in 6-inch and pile in and consolidate are going to be my go-tos, substituting those out with fight on death and probably lethal hits, death wounds. Reroll charges, it's there kind of as like the sorry, like I guess I gotta take it, which there's still an argument to have reroll charges if you're looking at your go turn and you're like, damn, I have 6 or 7 6-inch charges lined up. Please take reroll charges so
yeah,
you don't just lose the game on the spot.
yeah,
But if you have safe threat ranges lined up everywhere, you probably are picking that one the least out of the list. Dev wounds, if you get paired into knights, like I said, it does nothing. So just don't bother. Um, I think again, we're going to be looking at sustained hits, pile and consolidate as your go-to. Fight on death will show up situationally. Lethal hits will also show up
yeah.
situationally. And if your vessels or berserker warband, you're probably picking lethal sustained pile in.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'll say because I don't think there's really much more we need to go into this right now. But I'll say I was maybe hoping for more of a shake-up of blessings. But I like it as it is. The icons for berserkers and jackals are a bit of a letdown. Um, I kind of wish they would have made those reroll charges like they were in eighth and
Yeah.
ninth edition or early ninth edition, and given us. I don't think we needed to keep the feel no pain. I hate it, but I'm glad it's gone because it allows us to diversify our army. I just think maybe they could have put something in there.
Yeah, because yeah, you start comparing that icon to some of the other icons too that are out there, like Emperor's
Yeah,
Children. You get a CP from killing a dude. Like that's
yeah,
crazy. We
that.
have that locked on a character. Their whole army is getting that, and then you have Thousand Sons getting an extra AP on a six. Like that's what
Yeah,
I want. And
yes,
consistently with, especially without the push to want to roll triple six to get Angron back, which the index was constantly slamming. Now I don't really care what I roll because I'm
yeah,
just gonna kind of make it work.
because you should consistently get. So you need a double two and a triple, or double two and a double four to get the average 6 inch and sustained.
And we haven't cracked the math on the odds of getting all of these raw from eight
Right.
dice, but it hasn't really changed much from what it is currently for sustained. It's still going to be way more often than not. Like I'd say, like 80% of the time you're going to be getting that. Just
Yeah,
a gut check off the top of my head. And then the pile and consolidate, yeah, you're getting that like in the 90% of the time.
yeah, yeah. I think overall blessings are still fine. I know a common theme certainly in our Discord is it's still very zinchy because it's still the random element, and Blood Tithe was not, or was more controllable, let's say. So the theme of blessings, it's I don't know, it
It
doesn't quite gel, but mechanically it's what we've got.
exactly can't. Next codex, we can cross our fingers the Blood Tithe
Yeah,
gets a revamp. We have it currently, and as a
yeah,
weird iteration in our current codex, if you have a humongous wrinkly brain, you can play the demon attachment to get your Blood Tithe fix. But for now, again, the 6 inch pile and consolidate. Like I said, I was
Room on
expecting that
high.
to be the hardest
Yeah,
one to
that was
get.
going to be advance and charge. Like you was, excuse me, you would take favor just to ensure you got it. Now you've essentially guaranteed it in most games. So yeah. Any closing thoughts, Brian? Any little things you want to add on?
Like I said, I'm really excited to like get this out on the table. I really, really have a deep hatred for horde armies, and the 6 inch pile-in and consolidate is a wonderful tool for those horde armies. Like,
Yeah,
screen me now. I'm just gonna keep in like pinball hellbrute, right? That
yeah,
dude's gonna have a heyday into those armies. So I'm really excited to get this on the table,
yeah,
get playing with it. I do think it's a good shakeup for our army identity, it's much less toxic than its previous version.
yeah, yeah. I'd agree. It makes us more. And I guess one more thing: 6 inch piling is more useful throughout the game than advance and charge. Advance and charge, you typically needed it on one turn, maybe two turns, and you know your win con could actually rely on that. If you fail to get it, suddenly you're standing with your balls out, and the wind's blowing, and there's just like a whole tail gun line there, and you're like, shit, now I've got to come backwards and lose the game because I don't have ball control because I can't advance and charge. Now we don't have that coin flip to worry about because we're playing differently. Our go turn has to be a bit more surgical, has to be a bit more controlled. We're not yeeting quite so much, but we are doing much more impact after that initial fight is done because of that. We're controlling them at a second layer because they're having to screen so much farther back or be the 7.1 away from our consolidate in those Tau games, for instance. So yeah, I think ultimately it's a win. It's positive. We're having less anger on toxic play. We're having no real advance and charge alpha strike toxic play. I think it makes our army much more fun to play against. Far fewer feels bads because of this. So yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah, I am too.
All right.
So if you guys liked what you saw, if you have any ideas, feel free to check out our Discord. Feel free to comment if you have a favorite blessing in particular or crazy Hellbrute stories of Hellbrute consolidating 6 inches and moving 40 inches across the table in just one fight phase. I'm sure somebody's going to pull it off because it's
Yeah,
way more likely now than it was
yeah,
before. Um, like I said, hit us up in the comments, hit us up in the Discord. If you feel so inclined, please consider our Patreon because we will be talking about how to probably best optimize this list of blessings. As we were alluding to, every combo of blessings has a unique situation, and there's never going to be a go-to answer of which two to pick.
yeah.
So if you want just some insight on how to be doing that, feel free to check us out. Other than that, you got anything else, Jamie?
No, I will just walk us out with stay healthy, stay safe, and kill main bird.